About my generation.
All right, we are live on YouTube on the Leroy and Earl show. This is the Leroy and Earl pre-show. It's just like,
Pre-show,
it's just like other pre-things. It's before the actual show.
but don't we start at 7?
Yes, and it's 7:01, and we're going to start. The problem is I forget now with YouTube. They made it more complicated than it used to be. It used to be.
Okay.
It used to be I could hit start streaming in OBS and it went live. Now I got to hit start streaming in OBS. Then I got to go to my live YouTube page. I got to wait for it to load, get the stream, and then I got to hit go live on the YouTube page, and that all takes about almost a minute. So that's why it's 7:01. So
Nice.
All right, so we're gonna start the show, and
wow,
that works. So I'm gonna mute you. Just I like the intro to be clean. You know what I mean? So,
I understand.
So don't freak out. I'll bring you up.
Sir.
I'll bring you up like within seconds.
Hey, Michelle's already here and on it.
Is she? Nice.
She said hi.
Hi. Tell her I said hello.
She's in the pre-show. Well, I think she just heard you say it.
She's on the pre-show. I'm sure there's like a 30-second delay. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn you down.
ladies and gentlemen, yay, you are now tuned in.
Guess what, shitheads? It's time for the Leroy and Earl show.
All right. Welcome to the Leroy and Earl show. I'm in the house with my hizzy, Carlisi. Carlisi is back from his tryst with white women and donuts. All the shitheads just want to know what that was all about.
I love donuts and I love twists.
Love twist? Twist. All right, you're listening to the Leroy and Earl show. We're live on YouTube and we're live on Podbean. And Michelle, thanks for tuning in. Carlisi's going to monitor that chat room, and I'm going to monitor the Podbean chat room. I actually had like 3 or 4 people come in and out last week.
Really?
Nobody really stayed very long, but I wasn't responding to them, so that might be why. So tonight I'll try and respond. So, and you can call us at 330-474-9833. Dr. Brown said he might give us a jingle. Maybe not. Talked to Dave last week, so that worked. And all that good stuff. On tonight's show, I know we're going to talk about the show, right? Because that's part of what we do here, right, Carlisi?
Might as well.
You can live with that, right?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, there was another co-host that could not deal with that. He would flip his lid. If 3 minutes into the show we weren't talking about some other subject, he'd start losing it. So anyway, speaking of that, I know it's wintertime out, people, right? But it was 50-some degrees here today in Northeast Ohio.
Terrible.
It's amazing. You know what it made me think about?
What?
Buying some motorbike stuff from discountwheelies.com.
Is that our sponsor?
That's our sponsor, discountwheelies.com. And like I said, it's wintertime in most of the country. It's not exactly the time you're buying motorbike things. But, hey, you never know. Like I said, it was 50 here today, and we're having a very mild winter. I don't know how it is there in Boston. While I'm thinking about it, Michelle, so sorry about the Patriots. I was actually rooting for a 7th Super Bowl, but, yeah, it's not in the cards.
I was also very sad.
Those Titans really came in and just whooped some ass.
Random. It's so random how good they were.
Yeah, they kind of came out of nowhere. They started the season really poor. They changed the quarterbacks, and their running back is just a beast. I mean, he's the beast.
Terrible.
Yeah. Just so you know, Carlisi knows nothing about football.
I know a lot about football. Michelle asked, why is there not a split screen? Well, Leroy's banning me for a while.
Well, no, it's nothing to do with that. I really I would love to do that, but I'm afraid my computer won't be able to handle everything that's going to be going on at the same time. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm pushing it now. I'm going live on YouTube with this camera, and I'm live on Podbean, and also have the phone going through that. So maybe we'll try it next week.
You should get a picture of me and just put it on top of the Marshall amp, and that'll do justice.
I should. I had a picture of you last week.
I saw that.
I could just put that picture up in there, up in the
No,
corner,
no,
like right up,
no,
right
don't
over
worry
there,
about that.
right here. I'll just put that picture. You don't like that picture, huh?
It's a terrible picture.
It's hilarious, though. You got to admit, because you don't know. You know, if someone doesn't know you, you're just this enormous black man who's got white women draped all over him, and you either just stole the donut from the white women, or the white women attacking you and making you eat the donuts. It's hilarious.
I'm going to tell you the story with that. Okay, arguably one of the best wedding desserts ever. They had a wall of Krispy Kreme donuts. I kid you not.
A wall? What do you mean, stacked up?
It was like a standalone wall with some poles, wooden poles or sticks or whatever. I don't know what the hell I call them. And then each one had like 10 or 20 donuts on each one, and it just filled up the whole wall. It was great.
Wow, that sounds delicious.
It was. I mean, I had probably 7 donuts.
What kind?
I'm not. They were all Krispy Kreme glazed with like some type of topping on. So it was strawberry and chocolate glaze on some of them.
Sounds delicious. I've never heard of any such a thing.
Well, that's why you gotta go to weddings more often.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of weddings. I mean,
Come on.
so anyway, another show news. We are live, or not live. I'm sorry. Yes, we are live on Podbean and YouTube. And you can call us at 330-474-9833. But the other big news this week, and Carlisi's been on my case about this for months. You can now listen to the Leroy and Earl Show on iHeartRadio and Spotify. Yes.
Cue the confetti,
Yes.
please.
Yes. Dun, 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 dun.
Wow.
Yes. So what happened was months and months, probably a year ago maybe, I submitted the show to iHeartRadio, and I got no response. And all these places where you submit your show, you get a response. You know, they send you emails and blah, blah, blah. You get emails from them for the rest of eternity. You know what I mean? Because you're now on their list. So I got nothing back from iHeartRadio. And then I read in all kinds of forums and everywhere that they won't, iHeart and Spotify won't play your podcast if you play a copyrighted music, which we do here. Now, we don't play full songs, but we use them for bumpers. And sometimes I play full songs, but I haven't recently. But so anyway, I kind of believed it, and I figured, screw it. I'm going to, one of the things I love about doing the show is having the music. You know, it kind of makes the show feel professional. And yes, I could make my own music, but it wouldn't sound as cool. So I do try to use music that's a little less known. Now that intro song is off this new Snoop Dogg, so that's pretty popular. But I try to use music from bands nobody's ever heard of. So, but so yeah, and the only reason why I found out that we were on iHeartRadio is I did a Google search for the Leroy and Earl Show just to see, how we were doing in Google, which we're doing great, by the way. Like the whole first page and almost all the second page, which who goes to the second page? But anyway, the whole first page. And about 4 down, it said Leroy and Earl Show on iHeartRadio. And I'm like, what? I felt like a giddy schoolgirl.
We did it.
I was like, we're on iHeartRadio? And I didn't believe it, so I went to my phone, and I didn't have the app on there. So I downloaded iHeartRadio, looked it up. Sure as hell, there's the Leroy and Earl Show on iHeartRadio. So you know what I did?
You downloaded iHeartRadio?
No, I went straight to Spotify and submitted the show to Spotify, and it was up within 48 or 24 hours. Boom, it was
Look at that.
on Spotify.
Oh
Look
my
at that.
God.
And Carlisi's been on me for months to get on Spotify specifically, not iHeartRadio.
I love Spotify. Love Spotify.
And guess what? Spotify has now surpassed Apple podcasts in almost every country in the world except America for podcasts.
Really?
Yes, I just read that the other day.
So we're on the biggest podcast platform.
We're on both of them.
Both of them?
Yeah, we're on Apple Podcasts. I've been there forever. We've been there from the beginning. In America, Apple Podcasts is the number one place that people listen to podcasts. And then now in, like, I was Australia and England, every English-speaking country, Spotify has surpassed Apple Podcasts for people listening to. So that bodes well for this show.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So can we officially say that we're on all streaming platforms?
I cannot think of any that we're not on now because those were really the only two left.
Beautiful.
Because if you use any podcast listening app, you search for the show and it'll come up because the feed goes out to all the catchers, which most of the podcast app catchers get their stuff from Apple.
Right.
So we were on Apple first. I want to make sure it got there because, the host that we use, I had to go in and do all that manually. Whereas the ones you pay for, they submit it for you.
You go in and put in work, man.
This show's been a lot of work. In fact, sometimes I get lost in the work and the technical side of it and forget that I have to have something to talk about. That's what I needed you for.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. I got some stuff. But you got to tell us what the drink of the night is.
The drink of the night is Jack and Coke.
Oh.
And I'm finishing up this bottle of Jack Daniel's Legacy Edition 2. Hold that up to the camera there.
What the hell does that mean?
Oh, it's just a special. I don't know, maybe they made it different. It's just got a different label. It's kind of cool. I collect the bottles, so.
So it doesn't taste different.
It tastes a little. It's a little different. It's a little higher in alcohol content.
I think it's a ripoff.
It could be. It didn't cost any more than the regular Jack, so.
Oh, it was the same.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
same price. Same price. I think. If it was more, it was only a couple bucks.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, we're on Spotify, we're on iHeartRadio, we're everywhere, and I was really, like I said, I was really happy with the Google search results. We were everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just want to remind everybody that our LeroyandEarl.com is just going to go directly to our Podbean page, and there you will be able to listen to or download the latest 4 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
They'll rotate in and out. So you won't have to, and most people aren't going to do that way anyway, but I just, our old website was cool. It was fun, but the host wasn't working. I was getting a lot of feedback from strangers saying, hey, your site just isn't loading. So.
And you made that when you first started the whole podcast, right? That's old website.
That's very old. I've had that for, probably 6 years, maybe. I've been going with that. And I used the paid version for a while, but I was on the free version because this whole paid version website thing, you can go on and pay $20 a month for a website, or you can use their free version and then buy the URL for $15 a year and just have the URL point to the free website. So anyway, you can, nothing is ever going to change. Well, I can't say ever, but nothing's changed about how you listen to this show. If you listen to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, that's going to stay the same. The Podbean page at LeroyandEarl.com is its own thing now. And I don't know. I'd like to get some feedback on how that works if anybody likes it. You can tell me. I started watching The Irishman, so you can give me some feedback on LeroyandEarl.com now.
Oh, that's right. Was that our agreement? If you started watching The Irishman, I would.
Yes, remember you said until I watch The Irishman, you're not going to tell me what you think of LeroyandEarl.com.
I think you got to finish it first.
Great.
Sorry.
So maybe you can tell me tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow, yeah. It's just I don't want to. That's like I would have to half tell you. I wouldn't be able to tell you everything. I have to give you like a couple of things.
Well, I should have just told you I finished it.
I would have quizzed you.
Well, as long as you didn't quiz me about the last hour.
That's true. That's like the biggest part of the whole movie.
Yeah, probably.
Come on, dude. Nobody in the world is saying I don't want to finish The Irishman.
Nobody.
There
might be people saying they can't. Like this movie's so long that I guarantee someone has died. From the time it started. Well, not because of the movie. I'm just saying someone died watching it because it's just the odds are, It's
possible. It's possible, but damn, is this so good. Ooh.
It's pretty good so far, yeah. I'm liking it. Oh, no.
What'd you forget?
I forgot to hit record on the DAW.
Oh, no.
Now, the good thing is Podbean, I can get the recording, but
nice.
it's not as good a quality.
But also, we're on YouTube too, so
yes,
you can, I guess, judge the quality from that.
The volume in YouTube, I couldn't get it up. I couldn't get it up.
Oh boy!
Wow. Yeah. Well, I guess this show will just be not as good a quality audio. I don't know what else to say.
Nobody cares.
You know what I did?
Took a poop?
Stupid me. No, I decided to use that screen that I have the DAW on, which is a separate computer. I decided to pull up the Trello page so I could see it real big, to see everything we're going to talk about. And I freaking forgot to hit record. I might as well just hit it now, I guess.
You only have 5 screens in front of you. I imagine.
It's 6. It's 6.
6 screens?
Yeah. 6 screens. And I'm multitasking on 1 to 3 of them. 3 of them are there's 1, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, technically 10, 11 windows open that I'm dealing with. And you can podcast without all this.
Yes. That's how they used to do it back in the old days.
Back in the day. Yeah. In one of the forums that I'm in, somebody wrote on there, somebody said, what kind of equipment should I get? I want to get the best equipment because I want to do a good show. And then other people were chiming in, you don't have to do that. And I chimed in, I have thousands of dollars in gear and 6 computers and my show still blows. So.
Wow. You're like a mentor. That's good.
Yeah. I said, you don't need to buy all that stuff. Worry about your show not sucking first. See, that's my problem. I cannot get out of the constant loop of trying to get more going on, more technical, more stuff, make it sound better, have stuff like this.
You just take this seriously.
And all this stuff. And I've got 3 keyboards in front of me and 3 mice, and I always end up grabbing the wrong one. Which computer am I going at? Anyway, so yeah, I guess the audio will suck but whatever.
When you're old and retired and you say it's time for me to wrap up everything, meaning life, you're about to die, you can look back and say, I used to be able to multitask.
Right. And I got proof of it. Go on YouTube.
Yeah, go on
That's
YouTube.
True.
Follow my legacy.
I mean, unless something changes in the internet world, 35 years from now when I'm an old man and I can pull up YouTube and go, look, I could used to do this reading and talking and stuff, computers. I knew back in when the computers was in your brain.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, back then you could just bring it up from a projection out of your wrist. We're gonna have just like the Star Wars. They're talking.
I'm sorry. Were you raised in a household with no consequences?
By the way, could you hear the music when we started the show?
That was so long ago, I don't remember.
We forgot to check on that because
I hear the sound bites.
Oh, you are hearing those?
Wow. I hear the sound bites.
Okay, all right. Because remember before when you were only hearing off the
dude, that was terrible.
The camera mic, and we didn't know it the whole show. But anyway, hey, what do you got for us, big guy? I'm going to turn the show over to you for a second here while I check and see if we're even live on Podbean. Because if we're not, then there will be no show.
Okay. All right. So I was going to start off by talking about the most anticipated movies, Carlisi's most anticipated movies of 2020.
All superhero movies?
Well, thanks for kind of spoiling that, but
sorry.
We want to go. Now people are going to only think about that as you're listening. But no, I was looking at the list of potential movies, and I wasn't very excited about this year. Last year, man, I'm telling you, was a really good year for movies. Even that movie that just came out, 1917, was technically on last year's standings, but it was just so many good movies back to back to back. And best part too is we didn't have that many Marvel movies, which basically owns the theaters when they come out. This year, though, we're getting like 3 Marvel movies, so we have to deal with that. Then there's Sony is making 2 superhero movies. And then Christopher Nolan is making a type of superhero movie. And then there's a new Wonder Woman movie. So there is just a lot of superhero movies coming out. You just can't, you're going to have to go see them because they're going to be the only things in theater, unless you want to watch the 8th Ghostbusters movie.
How about if I
which
just don't go to the theater?
No, you gotta go to the theater. Sorry, stop doing that. You have to go. So I'm gonna give a list of 10 most anticipated movies of 2020.
That sounds actually interesting. So, okay,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, at number 10. Drum roll, please. Thanks for the drum roll. Where's my drum roll?
You need to find another podcast to be
Okay, I
on
need
if
to
you want
find
that kind of stuff.
You don't have drum rolls on your
No,
soundboard.
well, let me see what I could come up with here. How about this?
Son of a bitch!
Is that there? No?
No.
Get on your knees, bitches!
Oh no, wait, I got the one for you. Say it again. Say the
Okay, drum roll, please.
Why are you gay? Why are you gay? Why are you gay?
it's kind of like a drum roll.
All right, number 10. This one you'll get, I hope. James Bond. Have you been following the James Bond series?
I've never been a fan.
You gotta be kidding me, dude. This is strike one already on the first movie.
I guarantee you I'll probably strike out 10 strikes.
Okay, this one for sure that you'll know. Bill and Ted 3.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure 3.
Well, no, it's Bill and Ted Face the Music.
I'm not remotely interested in that.
You didn't like Bill and Ted?
I mean, it was fun 40 years ago when I was a kid.
This is maybe you will strike out. Okay, so that's a strike 2 then. Okay, number we're on 8. A Quiet Place Part 2.
Didn't see the first one and don't care to see it.
You saw the first one?
I did not. No.
Okay.
I didn't see it and I don't care to see it.
Jesus. All right. Number 7, The Invisible Man. Have you seen that trailer?
I've seen the trailer and I would not go to the theater. I might be interested in watching it when it comes to whatever streaming service will have it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Michelle says that she also don't think she's ever seen a second of James Bond. Come on.
I don't know.
She said she'll see Bill and Ted. See? People want to go see Bill and Ted.
Again, maybe I'll watch it when there's nothing left on Netflix that I want to see.
She says no to A Quiet Place. All right, fine. I guess Quiet Place is lame. Okay, what are we on? Number 6. Here comes the superhero movies. This one is called New Mutants. I'm not going to bother explaining that to you, but basically it's X-Men, but more in the rated R sense. It's more of a dark version of X-Men, and I'm not going to get too into. You don't care. Number 6. I'm on 6.
I care, but like I said, I'm having problems here trying to log into Podbean on a different account, so I can
even if you were listening,
see if we're live.
You wouldn't care. Number 6, Wonder Woman 1984 looks amazing. You lived through the 80s, so you should definitely go see this.
Is that starring the same actress that played Wonder Woman?
Of course, she did amazing.
I'll go see that.
Oh, whoa, we got one.
I'm kidding. I won't actually go to the theater, but I would look forward to seeing it on Netflix.
It's not going to Netflix anymore, remember?
Disney Plus,
which
I have.
Okay, number 5. I don't remember what number I'm on. We're gonna say 5. This one you should know. Top Gun, Maverick.
We got a call coming in, Carlisi.
Oh, they interrupted the countdown.
They did. Nobody listens to the show. They just call in. Welcome to the Leroy and Earl Show. Who's this? Just say you can hear me.
Oh, yeah.
Hello? Hello? Did we just get Baba Booeyed?
Someone just said, oh, yeah.
And then they just hung up.
They hung up?
Yeah. Yeah, they hung up. I thought they couldn't hear us. I thought, well, that figures, even though I checked it out and it worked before the show.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder, was that Michelle, you think?
Keep that as a sound bite. It could have been there.
Wow.
Wow.
All right,
So
I'm going back to my
You
damn
can resume your
list.
countdown. Yep.
Top Gun. You have to be a Top Gun fan.
That looks. I saw the preview for that when I went to see Star Wars, the latest Star Wars, which is called.
Yeah.
Which was it called? I forget. I don't even remember.
It's called
The Rise of
I'm
Skywalker.
Making billions of dollars.
The Rise of Skywalker. I went to see that, and in the 45 minutes of previews that I had to sit through, that was one of the previews. And I was like, this looks like the lamest, stupidest remake ever. Ever.
Come on, dude.
Ever.
Come on.
Worse than the first Planet of the Apes that they tried to make with Mark Wahlberg.
Jeez. All right. Michelle says that it wasn't her. Confirmed.
Hey, Michelle, if I don't know if Michelle has the Podbean app. She's a podcast lover. She might have the Podbean app. If you do, I'd really like to know if we're live over there. If not, don't worry about it.
It's not. Don't worry about it. Tell her don't worry about it.
It's one of those things. If it's not recording, wow, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll quit. I'll done podcasting.
Okay, here's one for sure. I know you'll like.
All right, what are we on? Number 4?
Yeah, it's 4. Coming to America. It's the number 2 because it's the second Coming to America.
I never saw.
You liked the first one?
I never saw the first one.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. Didn't care. Didn't look good. Maybe I saw it, but I don't remember it.
You have so much wisdom.
I like Eddie Murphy, and I like.
You don't know any movies.
I like old Eddie Murphy better than young Eddie Murphy. So, I won't go to the movie to see it.
Jeez,
dude, it takes. You know what? The only reason why I've gone into a movie theater in the last
here we go
5 to 10 years is because my kids want to go.
Okay.
My kids want to go, and we have a movie theater here in town that plays first run movies, and it's only $5, and the candy and stuff is cheap, normal prices. Let's put it that way, same price you'd pay at the store.
No,
So it's it's not the best theater in the world, but I'll go with them because I can take my whole family for $30, instead of $100.
Right.
Regular theater. So my son wanted to see when Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker came out. He wanted to see that so bad, and it wasn't in this theater. It was only the regular theater. So we went. And it cost $30 for 2 of us.
Yeah, because you got like a popcorn and drink and stuff.
He did. I didn't get anything.
He didn't share it with you?
I didn't want any.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But that's why I don't go to movie theaters, because it's people talking and babies crying and cell phones going off and no offense, but black women in the back, shouting at the screen,
No offense.
Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't.
I don't know the last time you've been to a movie theater, but that sounds kind of scary.
Actually, I'm just making that up for the comedy effect. When I went to see Star Wars, which this was weird too. This is the first time I ever went to the theater where I walked in, and normally where you buy the tickets, it was closed and it said buy your tickets at the concession counter.
Mm-hmm.
So I look over the concession counter, and of course, like all other concession counters in a busy place, there's no line. There's just people standing all over the place.
Right.
So we go over there and we just basically kind of move our way up in there, and then we bought our tickets there, and they brought the screen up, said you got to pick your seat on the screen instead of just giving you a ticket and you go sit down wherever. So that was weird. The theater was pretty full because it was Friday night. I think it opened on Thursday, and it was Friday night. The theater was pretty full. And I distinctly remember this. My whole life of going to movie theaters, I don't ever remember a time when I thought to myself, God, it's quiet in here. It's dead silent. And to me, that told me the movie sucked. Nobody was reacting to the movie. Hardly at all. It's like for an hour, I don't think I heard a peep.
Things have changed, man. It's called movie etiquette.
So people do that now, huh?
Yeah. Michelle says that we're live on Podbean.
Oh, thank you, Michelle.
She's a rock star.
Michelle is like one. She should just come on the show. I should have asked her instead of you.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
Yo,
I'm kidding. She's been on the show more than Earl. I can tell you that much.
That is actually very true. Okay, what number was I on?
I think
Back
you
me
were.
up.
I think
4?
you. I think you said 2 or 3 was coming to America.
Okay, 3. We'll say 3.
You're on 3.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Sonic. Okay,
Sonic.
this is yeah. Look, I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, one, I love Jim Carrey, so it's good to see him back on the big screen. Two, their movie was originally poopy, and they decided to, instead of being like most studios and just putting out the movie when it's super shitty, they decided to listen to the critics and they redid the entire CGI for the movie and made it look way better.
So, are you saying when they screened it, the CGI sucked?
Right.
But they were going to go with that if they could get away with it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Until everyone ripped them a new one. I mean, the internet really destroyed them, and they decided that they actually listened, which most studios wouldn't give a crap about that at all. They just want to make their money because they know people will still go see it. They won't make a lot of money, but they'll probably break even at least.
I wonder how much more they spent. You know what I mean?
Sonic didn't come out yet. Sonic comes out February 14th. Michelle wants to know.
Valentine's Day.
She may go see it.
On Valentine's Day.
Uh-huh.
What day is that?
That is probably Friday. Okay, number 2. That's going to be Tenet. It's a Christopher Nolan movie. And it's something about time travel. And I know I love it because it pretty much feels like Inception. I can't wait.
I can't wait to see it on Netflix.
You like Christopher Nolan, didn't you like Inception?
I do, and I that sounds like a good movie to watch on Netflix.
But okay, that's it. You want to watch?
There's no reason to go to a movie theater except my kids.
Look, man, it's something to do. It's a hobby.
Yeah, but you could stay at home and you're more comfortable and you get better food and it's free.
I don't know about better food. Not if you're cooking.
You can get better food.
Oh, that's true. And then number 1 is the twisted story of Hansel and Gretel called Gretel and Hansel. They switched it around.
I wonder who thought of that.
Man, I know.
How many hours of storyboarding did they have to do to come up with that name?
It looks really dark though, and I hope that they actually do it right. Oh no, Michelle, don't hate time travel. That's what makes movies so confusing.
Well, if they're done right, they're not confusing.
No, every single movie that's done time travel is confusing.
It depends on if it's time travel or if they're jumping back and forth in time. That's what makes it confusing. You know what I mean? You can do a time travel movie that's understandable, but if you're going back and forth in the sequence of the show, not necessarily actually traveling through time, but if they're showing you, okay, this is what happened to this person when they were a kid, now they're adult, now they're a kid again, that's what's confusing.
Okay, so
don't blame it on time travel is what I'm saying.
Excuse me. Name one. Name one good time travel movie.
Really?
Just one.
I can name a dozen good time travel movies.
I doubt it.
The Terminator.
No, that was definitely.
I just buried you.
The Terminator is probably the worst.
The
Terminator is probably the worst.
Buried you.
Get on your knees, bitches!
The Terminator.
Listen to me.
Do you want me to tell you the second best time travel movie ever?
No, I just want one, and you failed.
Terminator 2.
Get on your knees, bitches!
You failed. Terminator 2, Terminator 1, they're the worst time travel movies because even though they thought they changed what they said they're going to change, it didn't change anything, and there was still another Terminator that came.
Is excellent. I'm not saying it's the best, but it was the first one, the most classic one I can think of off the top of my head.
The most classic one.
Let me think about these time travel. I love time travel movies and shows if they're good. I mean, there's some bad ones out there, but and a lot of them aren't. I can't remember. There's one on Netflix that's a series that's pretty good. Travelers.
Oh, I have heard of that one.
Travelers is pretty good. Here's something that people need to know about this new dynamic we got going on here with Chuck and Carlisi, and that is we both love TV. We love watching TV, but he likes movies, and I like series or TV shows.
Yes.
So I'll be the one to tell you what to watch on Netflix, and he'll be the one to tell you what to go to the theater and see. So
Sounds good.
and it's not that I don't like movies, and I don't think you hate series either. But like you've never seen Breaking Bad, which means you don't,
I've seen Breaking Bad at least 3 times through.
No, you haven't. And why would you lie on this show, which is heard around the world, world famous? It's heard in Nigeria, in Michigan, in California, and in Florida, and you're lying to all the shift heads.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's my favorite. It's
another lie, and that's one of the greatest shows ever made.
Exactly, I agree with you. I'm with you.
And I know you do that just to irritate me. And let me tell you something. It does. It works like a charm. I know you're lying.
Look, here's the real question, okay? Michelle asked, did you actually measure out a shot for your drink?
I did, and
we have to address that.
The reason why I do that is just because I drink for the enjoyment of the taste, not to get hammered. So when I have the proper size glass, which is your typical rocks glass, and I put the perfect amount of ice in there, then I like to make sure that I have the same amount of Jack for the amount of Coke I put in. So
you have a rocks glass.
It tastes the same every time. Unlike a bar. If you go to a bar, they just, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you get one and it's like too much Jack, and then sometimes you get one and there's too much Coke, or the Coke's flat, or the ice. It's just, when I make a Jack and Coke at home, I like it to be perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. Michelle's observant, that's all.
Well, I appreciate it. I love the fact that somebody's actually watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to play around with these different camera angles. I got something going on here I wanted it to kind of look down on what I was doing, but still not be right in my face. But
it is looking down on what you're doing.
Yeah. But then it looks weird because it's like I'm not really interacting with my audience of one.
Well, maybe you shouldn't wear a hat, and then people can actually see your eyes.
Well, yeah, but then they could see the fact that I have a receding hairline. Now, when you laugh, it cuts out.
That's good. I'm laughing too loud.
No, I wish it didn't cut out because your laugh's entertaining.
Well, maybe I'll get a new mic one of these years and fix that problem.
You think it's the mic?
Yeah, it's definitely the mic.
Oh, okay.
When I'm in OBS recording, sometimes it just shuts off.
It sounds like a noise gate.
It's just a $20 mic, so it makes sense. I'm not rocking the Prince of mics like you have.
Well, if you're gonna take this show seriously, let me reword that. So that's not what I mean. If you decide you want to invest in the show, I'd suggest you go out and get a little mixer, nothing big. It could be a tiny 2 or 3 channel mixer, and then you could get a decent mic and whatever kind of stand you wanted, and then you could actually participate. Like you could feed stuff into your soundboard, music or the internet or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it would sound smoother, and the mic would sound better too. Now, like I said, this audio on Zoom here that we're using tonight is much better than what we've been using. So pretty good. It's pretty good. You sound more like you're on the show as opposed to a guest who's sitting in the corner.
In the bad corner.
In the bad.
Yeah, I got some stuff in my list. I'll actually have to show you sometime on my Amazon cart of some ideas because, just to put a plug out there for the 2 people watching, I do movie reviews with my wife on my separate YouTube channel, and I want the audio to be a little bit better for that because we're sharing one mic, and that doesn't come through very clear, and it sounds like we're in a hallway instead of actually being recorded.
Well, I don't know how much money you want to spend, but they make
at least $10,000.
I actually don't even have that much going on here, considering half of what I'm using is old computers that someone told me that ain't going to work anymore, and it's still working. So, no, they make they're really catering to podcasters now out there with soundboards, and they got a really great board would work great. I think it's 400. So then you'd have to add the mics to that. But it does this,
Wow.
it has that on the board instead of doing the configuration I've got going on here with a whole separate laptop just so I can go like this.
Wow.
Jeez.
But I can do this also.
Why are you gay?
Oh, Michelle with another good idea. She said, why not put the hat on backwards?
The hat on backwards. Well, let's give it a try.
Let's see. See how cool. You look like a cool dad. Boom. Now the audience can see your eyes, your shiny forehead.
I feel way more redneck, that's for sure. Or I could do something like this.
Oh. You just de-aged at least 5 years.
How's that?
You de-aged 5 years.
What's up, yo? What's up, yo? What's up, yo? Cranking out a podcast here on Leroy and Earl. This is the Leroy and Earl show.
Wow.
I gotta say, I don't think I've ever seen you put a hood on in my entire life.
Really?
I don't think I've ever seen that. It took you down about 5 years, man. You should do that more often.
Yeah.
It could be a new look.
Could be a new look, yep.
I heard hoodies are in this year.
This is my wife just got me this Detroit Lions hoodie the other day for no reason, just out of the blue.
Yeah, you're not a Detroit Lions fan.
I am a Detroit Lions fan.
You're a Broncos fan.
I am a Broncos fan.
You can't be a fan of multiple teams.
Yes, you can. Who said you can't?
You have to wait. Are those the Bengals? What is that?
This is a Broncos special
Broncos.
helmet. It's the black and.
How can you? Well, you can't pledge your allegiance to 2 teams.
I pledge my allegiance to 31 teams. I love all the teams except the Steelers. I hate the Steelers.
Jeez. What do you have against the Steelers?
They're just cheaters. They were steroid junkies in the 70s, and then they paid off their refs in the 90s. I just have, and they're the Browns' biggest rival. So
Fair enough. Wow, so 31 teams. All
yeah,
right.
I actually, I love the NFL. Like I wore this to work, and everybody's like, "Hey, I didn't know you were a Lions fan." I go, "Yeah, I like the Lions." Well, I just saw you wearing a Broncos jersey. To me, that doesn't relate. I don't relate to that. Like people like the Browns fans, all are done with the football season's over for them. It's always over. It's usually over by October, but for me, it's like I love the NFL. It's a huge, huge thing that I'm into. So if you walked around my house, you would think you were in the Pro Football Hall of Fame store, because I just have stuff from every team. Yeah, I have a complete collection of those mini helmets, like the one I just picked up. I have all 32 teams, yes, and even the Steelers. And then I have about 8 throwback helmets and different things like that. But anyway,
Sounds like a waste of time.
speaking of the NFL, did you get to number 1 on your list before we move on here?
Oh shit, I don't remember. I thought I did.
You said, what was the last one you mentioned?
Oh man, that was like 50 minutes ago. I don't know.
Well, then you're done then. We don't have to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
let's just say number 1 was number 1.
Number 1 was number 1.
Yeah.
So anyway, on the line, I can't believe somebody crank called us.
That was great. I loved it.
That was awesome. Did you listen to last week's show? I'm not going to judge you if you didn't.
I listened to probably about 30 minutes of it. I got through the conversation with Dave.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. He mentioned that guy from Oregon. Remember that called us just by total accident? That reminds me of that, except this person didn't stay on the line long enough to just said, whoo. I still think it was probably Michelle.
That's amazing. I hope he calls in every single time.
And just does that.
Yep, every single time.
That'd be great. So on the line, hey, are you there, buddy? Hello. It's just one of the things about getting rid of Ricky that I do miss. Like I'm trying to patch this line through, and he used to just do this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Dang it, is this not working? Wait, I hear something. Hello.
What's up, boys?
Oh, Saul, buddy, what's the haps, my friend?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. What's going on? Father James called me. He said something about you fired Leroy.
I did.
You're kidding me, right?
No, it just wasn't working. It was time to move on in a different direction.
Wow, I'm surprised you're still alive, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well,
Who's that I hear laughing? Who's on the show with you?
Yo,
Yo, is that
It's
Carlisi?
it's Morgan Freeman.
It's Morgan Freeman. I've got jokes, and I'm not going to say any of them. Hey, kids. So, wow, I was shocked that when I heard you fired Leroy, but apparently Father James said you had some really good reasoning to do that. Did you?
I did. Here's the thing. The adult cartoon of podcasts worked, and it was funny when Earl was on. When Earl wasn't, it was just kind of confusing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, the show wasn't the same without Earl. Leroy did all right, and Ricky was a pain in the ass, but I could see that. I could see that. That's a deal. That's a deal breaker there when Earl leaves.
Yeah, so I thought, you know what? I didn't say he can't be on the show anymore, which I don't know that he ever will. He may have just said, screw you, and I'm never coming back on your show, but I'd like to have him on once in a while, He accused me of, saying, that he's just a trained monkey like you.
Like me?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't even know where to go with that. Well, anyway, can I talk about my favorite subject in the world?
You're going to talk about...
The NFL, baby.
Okay. I was going to say something else.
You're going to get me in trouble. That's what you're going to do. Yeah, big news in the National Football League world. I don't know if you heard this or not, but at the Ravens playoff game against the Tennessee Titans, dude died. Did you hear that, Carlisi?
Who died?
A guy died at the game.
Just like an attendee?
No, just a person at the game, watching the game.
Yeah, like he was in the stadium. Just
yes, right. And, I guess you would think to yourself, well, 50, 60, 70,000 people go to these games. It's probably, not that unusual for someone to die at a game. But this guy, it's a little different. And the reason why he died because the Ravens lost. He threw himself off the balcony screaming that the Ravens suck and he can't live anymore.
Hey.
You're joking, right?
No, listen, I'll read the story. A male fan collapsed on the steps of the M&T Bank Stadium upper deck and died during the Baltimore Ravens playoff loss to the Tennessee Titans, which was a complete debacle. The team confirmed the death on Sunday and said the name is being withheld still. This story is a few days old. The name is being withheld until the next of kin is notified. But the man appears to have committed suicide due to the poor lack of play from the Baltimore Ravens.
Are you buying this, Carlisi? I'm not.
I'm not buying.
Well, you guys think I would come on this show and make stuff up?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't, but I did, and I always do. No, a guy did die at the game. He fell off the balcony and broke his freaking neck. And,
Jeez.
the saddest part of this story is the fact that the Ravens lost so bad. I mean, if you know what I mean? It's like he died for nothing.
So you're saying if the Ravens had won, it would have been, his death wouldn't have been in vain?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Anyway. Hey, Mr. What can I call you?
My name's Chuck.
Hey, Chuck, can you play my music? You were going to play it, weren't you?
I was, and then I didn't. So, so here it is. If you're listening on Podbean, this music will sound like garbage. The stream on Podbean is great for audio, for vocal, but once you get in the music, it's kind of shaky. But anyway, take it away, Saul.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend, as you know, is the AFC-NFC Championship games. The Green Bay Packers are going to go into San Francisco and play the 49ers. And the Tennessee Titans are going to go down to Kansas City and play the Chiefs. Now, if you watched the Tennessee Titans and Baltimore let me back up here. The Titans beat the Ravens pretty badly, but the real weird game was when the Houston Texans went in to play the Kansas City Chiefs. on Sunday in the regional playoffs. I've never witnessed anything like this in my life there, Chuck and Carlisi.
In your life?
No, never. And I've been watching football since the first Super Bowl. I saw the first Super Bowl.
You did?
I did.
Who played?
It was the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Green Bay Packers won in Super Bowl I in 1968 or 7. I don't remember. I'm old. So, well, here's what the story is. Okay, the Texans played the Chiefs, and the Texans were up 24-0 in the first quarter. It was insane. And I looked at my friend who was passed out drunk and couldn't hear me, but I said this to him anyway. I said, when the Chiefs started coming back, I was like, it's almost like the commissioner called down there and said, hey, make this game more competitive. Because by halftime, I think the Chiefs were winning. Or it was close. You know, it was insane. And I'm thinking to myself, Carlisi, is it a coincidence that this is the NFL's 100th season, right? And they're making a big freaking deal out of this. The 100th season. And guess who played in Super Bowl I? The Chiefs and the Packers.
Oh.
Was it the Chiefs got to get to the Super Bowl? Okay, so they rigged that game so the Chiefs would win. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. If on Sunday, if the Packers win and beat the Niners, which they shouldn't, they're the underdogs, and the Chiefs win, and they as Chiefs and the Packers in the Super Bowl, it's rigged.
Oh.
But I mean, it's a 50-50 chance, isn't it?
No, there's no way the Packers beat the 49ers. It's bullshit. Now, you know, the Chiefs probably, I mean, the Chiefs got a chance to beat the Titans. The Titans are kind of the Cinderella team, upstarts, you know what I mean? That really probably shouldn't be in the Final Four. But I'm telling you, if it ends up being Chiefs and Packers, I am.
You're what? What are you going to do?
I'm just going to say that. I'm going to say it to people, and I'm going to tell them that I think there's a conspiracy led by Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the National Football League, to put the Packers and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl on the 100th year of the NFL and the 52nd, or I don't remember, anniversary of the Super Bowl.
It's not even an even number.
I know, but it's close. I'm just saying, 100 years, first Super Bowl, what would be better on the 100th anniversary than to have a rematch of Super Bowl I?
I think a rematch of Super Bowl I would be awesome.
I do too, but I think it would be rigged.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so, Saul.
All right. You guys didn't believe that guy killed himself because of the Ravens. You guys don't believe that this thing is rigged.
I don't think it's rigged. I've heard all these stories about the Patriots cheating and blah, blah, blah. It's not rigged.
Whatever. Anyway, I appreciate you having me on your show, and if you see, I'm going to give Leroy a call sometime later, and I'll talk him down if he's still pissed.
Yeah, actually, I called him and I said, hey, would you consider coming on the show? He just hung up. That might have been him that called. Maybe he was using a voice. Maybe he was using a voice changer.
It's good. Possible.
It's a very, very likely possibility. So, hey, Saul.
Yeah.
I appreciate you calling in, man. Can you keep in touch?
You bet, my friends. Hey, Carlisi, good luck with this show. I mean, wow, a lot of great people have gone to their demise on this show. It's eaten the souls of people. I think Earl will never forgive anybody. He's never been the same. So, just giving you fair warning. So, all right.
All right, Saul. Thanks.
All right, Saul Gorman out.
That was Saul Gorman. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow.
Michelle's rooting for Titans San Fran.
Titans, San Francisco 49ers. I believe it's going to be the Chiefs and the 49ers.
Oh.
That's my pick. I actually would be pretty hyped if it was the Chiefs and the Packers, just because it's, Super Bowl I rematch. But the Titans being a huge underdog, I don't see the Titans pulling it off. Although the Chiefs ain't that great.
No, man.
Chiefs ain't that great. All right, we're getting ready. We're getting ready to wind down here. I'm looking for a good song to say goodbye to. Goodbye with. Carlisi's got a date. Sorry, I was picking my nose there. We had nobody on Podbean tonight. That's a little disappointing. We had a couple people last week, but that's all right.
That's okay. We at our most viewers. We had 4 on YouTube.
Yeah,
So
that's not bad.
gaining momentum,
Yeah,
man.
slowly but surely.
That's right.
We will be making money in 1,000 years.
At
At
least.
this rate. At this rate.
At least.
1,000 years. So, all right, let's wrap this thing up here with a little bit of rock and roll, which won't sound all that good on Podbean. I shouldn't say that. Why do I say stuff like that? Really?
Okay, I forgive you.
Thank you. This has been the Leroy and Earl Show, and I think we're going to stick with the name. I don't see any reason to change it.
I don't see why not.
And there's lots of shows that have a name that the people that are on it, that's not their name, right?
It's true. Just like the Leroy and Earl show.
Right. Just like the Leroy and Earl Show. So I got lots of work to do now to try and fix what I did when I didn't hit record on the DAW. And I don't think I'm ever going to use this. I guess I could do it. Anyway. I'd like to thank everyone who listens to the show. Thanks to the gold member shift heads, which includes Michelle. We're going to make Michelle a gold member even though she doesn't donate money. But the fact that she listens every week and is on YouTube listening, it's worth something.
She's a gold member.
She's
Welcome
a gold
to
member.
the gold.
Welcome to the gold circle, Michelle.
Boy, have you lost your mind? Cause I'll help you find it.
Get on your knees, bitches!
So, how you feeling about this? Feel good about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not bad.
I like it.
Yeah.
How you feel about it? How you feel about it?
You upgrade that gear, we'll be styling.
That's right. I can't
Yep.
wait. 10 G's, baby.
And see, you could do it for way less than that.
Yeah, I'm going for 10.
10 G's, you could almost build us a whole podcast studio. I was thinking more like under 500, and that would get you really good, really good. I think you could do it for 300.
Yeah, I'm shooting for multiply that
You're shooting
by
for 50.
20.
You're shooting for 50, right? 50 bucks.
50,000.
Probably one of the best mics you could probably buy is the Shure SM58. They're $100.
Oh, I know about the Shure SM58s.
That's, there's a lot of mics out there. A lot.
Trust me.
And
I'm gonna show you my list tomorrow. I got a list.
Sounds good. And you could even go cheaper than that, but why? Why go cheaper, man?
I go cheaper when you can go
10
fucking
G's.
K.
There we go.
Mhm. All right, I'm out of here.
All right, we're still live on YouTube, only for a few more seconds. Thanks so much to Michelle for listening. Wow, I should get on the pod. Look at that. I'm just now going over to the I'm watching the YouTube live stream, and it still shows Saul Gorman talking.
It's a little delayed.
It can't be that far behind.
No, it's not. It's showing you on your soundboard right now.
It just showed Saul Gorman hanging up.
Oh,
And that had to be like 5 minutes ago.
maybe.
So anyway,
Michelle said, "Have a great night." And
Thanks,
she said,
Michelle.
Yay.
thanks so much, Michelle. I appreciate you listening. Did you type her back, or you just talked to her?
We've just been talking.
Okay, cool. All right, that's it for YouTube. See you later, y'all.
Bye.
Peace out.